Inspiration number 13, and it's great to be with you again this evening. We're sitting here on the evening before the most bizarre bank holiday Monday that we've ever had, because it's going to be on a Friday. So if you weren't confused about what day of the week it was, anyway, we're certainly confused now, aren't we? Because tomorrow's Friday and it's bank holiday Monday. So I get that. But of course, the reason for the bank holiday on Friday is to celebrate VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, 75 years ago. The end of the Second World War in Europe, at least. And great celebrations, quite rightly, as that war time came to an end, certainly in Europe. And great sense of relaxation, of constraints and difficulties. It reminded me that the phrase that keeps getting banded around at the moment is the new normal. And wind back 75 years, and I'm sure there was a very new normal. The previous day, perhaps bunkered down literally. Days when the news was full of difficulties and sadness and death, of course. And now it was all over, and there was a whole new normal. And it was quite abnormal, wasn't it, when you see from the old newsreel clips people dancing around in the streets, the city of London packed out with people, all doing the new normal. And of course, it would take a little while for some semblance of real normality. But it was new, it was post-war, and the historians will tell us a whole bunch of new normal that came about. Well, 75 years on, we're on the verge of what sounds like a weekend description and announcement of some changes to the way that we're living our lives right now. But the new normal is the little phrase that's getting used in lots and lots of ways, isn't it? And of course, this whole situation has given us opportunity to think about what our new normal will be. Will we just return to the same old? Or will we take the opportunity to live differently, to respond in different ways, to consider life differently, to consider death differently? And perhaps most importantly, to consider my life and my death differently. Because although this is a global situation, it's a very personal situation too. I wonder, can I ask you, what will your new normal be? Will you give any more thought or time for things that matter, things that are eternal, things that have real value? Will we chase around after the same old? Or will it really change us? There are those who are optimistic. There are those who are pessimistic and cynical. But what about you? What will your new normal be? If you're a Christian, will you live differently? Will you view your faith? Will you view your security in God differently? Will you live less fearful, less worried and anxious, because we've had to learn and recognise that in all things God is sovereign and his care for us is without end and without limit? Maybe you're watching this and you're not yet a Christian. You've not really considered the claims of the Lord Jesus Christ. What will your new normal be? Will you just go back to the same old way? Can I encourage you not only to think differently, but to live differently? There are lots of people, perhaps churches where you are based. If you're local to us and involved in Bethesda, in Stockton Heath, and you'd like to know some more, please do get in touch. What a shame it would be if we just went back to the old, when the opportunity for a new normal is on our doorstep. And I wonder whether you'll think tomorrow, in the midst of all the news and celebration, muted of course, for VE Day, whether you'll stop and think, are there some victories that I need to think about? The victory of the Lord Jesus Christ over sin and death and hell. The victory that the Lord Jesus Christ won at the cross and then the empty tomb. Freedom that I need, not from war, but from sin. Freedom from self. Freedom from the futility of life. The Apostle Paul, one of the great writers in the Bible, in the New Testament, came from a place of religion to reality and a relationship with God. The great victory that took place in his life was to take him from his old ways and bring him into something brand new. This is how he described his life once he came to know the Lord Jesus. I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. His new life, his new normal, was living life hand in hand with the Lord Jesus Christ, who'd given his life that Paul, that you, that I might know life. Make Christ your new normal, and God bless you.